Welcome, welcome. How is everybody doing tonight? Thank you, everybody, for stopping in with us. Could have been anywhere in the world. I'm not gonna do that shit. But let me give a shout out to Elder Lion, Gorilla Biscuits, Eternal and King. Special shout out for Stepfire, man. Feeling a little bit under the weather. But without further ado, let's get it started, y'all. Good evening, folks. My name is Fredo Fonzarelli. I am the host of The Narrative. Unfortunately, Stepfire couldn't be with us tonight. He's feeling a little bit under the weather, so keep him in your thoughts and in your prayers. Today is March 30th, and on the board we have Doge updates. It looks like we're going to take a deep dive into the signal leaks and an alleged assassination attempt on Vladimir Putin. But before we dive into the stories of the day, I'd like to bring you some weather and emergency alerts. And it is spring. Cold is mixing with the warm air, so there's a lot of crazy shit happening across the country. So listen for your area, and you know what I'm saying. Make sure you sound off. Let us know where you're from in the chat. Don't dox yourself though. You know what I mean. But the central to eastern U.S. will continue to face the threat of severe weather, flash flooding, and an ice storm, along with northern tier the next couple of days. Enhanced risks of severe weather over the Ohio-Tennessee valleys west through the middle lower Mississippi Valley and into the Arklatex. Very large hails, significant damaging winds, especially into the evening hours, and tornadoes, a few of which could be strong, can all be expected. Some isolated instances of flash flooding will also be possible, particularly for northern portions of the mid-Atlantic, as well for the deep south central Gulf Coast. So, you know what I mean? You in the Midwest, you know what I'm saying? You on that East Coast, mid southeast coast, man, you gotta watch out, man. Might be some tornadoes. It is tornado weather, early spring. You guys gotta watch out for that. Whenever the cold air meets warm air starts to mix, and it can be deadly. I'm right in the middle of that shit. I'll tell you what. Um, to the north, a second round of wintry precipitation will continue an ongoing ice storm across portions of the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and upstate New York, northern New England. Significant potentially destructive ice accumulations from freezing rain upwards of quarter-inch to, oh, let me get these visuals up for y'all. I'm tripping, bro. Terrible when I don't have my co-host with me, man. Don't got my co-host, man. I'm a mess. I'm a mess out here. You know what I'm saying? This is current conditions from 11, the latest radar. But yeah, the freezing rain upwards of a quarter-inch to a half-inch. This is in upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and New York, New England area. Locally, even higher will be possible through this evening, which is on top of an initial round of freezing rain on Saturday. The heaviest additional snowfall totals are most likely along Lake Superior in the upper peninsula of Michigan, where another 4 to 6 inches will be possible. The wintry precipitation should wind down tonight, lingering longest across northern Maine into early Monday. So if y'all are in that area, make sure y'all get y'all's generators ready. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all got all the firewood y'all can handle, just in case of power outages. You know what I mean? Things of the nature. You know what I'm saying? Keep your shotgun in case you run out of food. You know what I'm saying? Catch some elk or something running across your lawn or something. You know what I mean? A lower elevation rain snow mix and higher elevation snow will begin to wind down tonight for the northern central Rockies and adjacent high plains. To the west, more significant precipitation chances will start to ramp up into Monday for the west coast as the Pacific system approaches the region. Showers and even some thunderstorms are expected along the coast from central California northward through the Pacific Northwest, with the heaviest rainfall focused along the coastal ranges near the California-Oregon border. No surprise there. Additionally, heavy snowfall is expected for higher mountain elevations, particularly for the Northern California ranges and Sierra Nevada, as well as the Southern Cascades. All right. We got the weather down. Let's see what chat is talking about. Fredo holding it down. You already know. This damn pollen is caked. Everything outside, it's making my brain itch. It took out my co-host, man. That's the reason I'm alone right now. It's kind of saddening and maddening. I'm going crazy. About to get hit with 3 to 8 inches of snow around these parts. It was 60 degrees 2 days ago. Jeez Louise. That's how it be in my area, but it didn't swing that extreme on us. It was 80 2 days ago, and then it rained last night, and now it's like shit 50 40. You know what I mean? I'm in Oz right now. Damn, I miss summer. Damn, the zombies are coming, JKs. All right, so let's get into our first topic here. So we got rumors of Elon leaving Doge. We got more big Doge fines. You know what I mean? And Doge, or not Doge, but Elon selling X to be absorbed into his XAI company. So this seems to be the reason for Elon leaving Doge. So despite criticism, the Department of Government Efficiency continues steadfast in its path to cut waste and fraud in the United States government. Amongst cries of potential conflicts of interest, fear of privacy and legal violations, and worries of putting essential services in jeopardy, Doge continues to cut contracts and programs that it deems wasteful to the American taxpayer. Just this week, Doge announced that it found a $42 billion broadband contract implemented by the Biden administration that is connected to a grand total of 0 homes in 4 years, as well as axing superfluous DEI contracts and $100,000 contract with the Department of Transportation for social media support services. So apparently, Biden implemented some broadband internet service program that has not been implemented in a single home in America. $42 billion we spent on this plan. According to Mario Knopfel the falafel, 42 billion broadband plan connected 0 homes in 4 years. Elon called for a sweeping regulatory reform, calling out the Biden administration's 42 billion broadband rollout. Now 4 years in with 0 homes connected. I know I didn't get no free broadband. I don't know anybody else who did. If you got some, let me know. You know what I mean? Let's debunk the novel, you know what I'm saying? Probably the most effective ad for Doge you'll ever see, as Jon Stewart walked through the 14-step bureaucratic maze from funding notices to map challenges, subgrants, and internal state reviews. Elon pointed the same broken system blocking California high-speed rail and delaying bridge repairs after the Baltimore crash, clearly depicting why a regulatory overhaul is necessary. That's a fucking understatement. You know what I mean? This shit should have been happening. There should have already been some sort of mechanism in place, if you ask me, some sort of regulatory institution, you know, that is watching over the government, watching how our money is spent. You know what I mean? Make sure it's being efficiently, and what they're saying is being spent on. You know what I mean? It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest. But it says 3 of the 56 states and territories have reached final approval. The rest still stuck somewhere between step 1, total collapse. I don't know, approval of Doge or approval of what? I'm not sure. But here's those contracts from Doge itself. Contract update. Over the last 3 days, agencies terminated 121 wasteful contracts with the ceiling value of $351 million in savings of $156 million, including a 1.6 DEI contract for strategies in implementing social emotional learning and a $143,000 Department of Transportation contract for social media support services. Like, what the hell? And product service, I guess this is their file, like their filing software, whatever they file in. DOD acquisition, not even filled out. USA, not a manufactured product. It's a US owned business. How did they know it's from the DOT though? Public relations agencies. Social media, they hired people to post on their Twitter, probably. You know what I'm saying? Gay bro, $143,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? To post on their Twitter. Bro, make it sound cool, man. Make it sound cool. But though it seems Musk seems content with setting up a framework of an organization that holds our government and its spending accountable and leaving its operations in capable hands, hinting at leaving the organization in spring, stating, "I think we will have accomplished most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame." And here we have this article from MSN. Watch this little clip. Watch this clip. I don't know if y'all can see this. Hold on. Let me full screen this for y'all. A little bigger.
Our goal is to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion. So from a nominal deficit of $2 trillion to try and cut the deficit in half to $1 trillion. Or looked at it in total federal spending to drop the federal spending from $7 trillion to $6 trillion.
Oh, for y'all watching at home, that's not watching but listening. Musk's ambitious goal has been put into question by experts after research into the task force cost-cutting measures conducted by the New America, a progressive think tank revealed layers of erroneous calculations.
How do you reassure people that what you all are doing is not going to affect their benefits?
No, in fact, what we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of Doge, will receive more Social Security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of Doge, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less money.
I believe that'll be true. Because if we're spending less money on superfluous programs, where else can our money go to be more efficient? And if we leave the framework of the department in capable hands with the same ideology as Musk left it, not saying that it's not able to be corrupted, because no entity isn't, but it could be a value to our country, a very powerful asset. But let's see here. Musk isn't afraid to make changes. On Thursday, Musk said he plans to step down from his role in Doge in the spring. He made more news on Friday when he confirmed X, the former Twitter that he purchased in 2022, has been sold to XAI, his artificial intelligence company. So he sold it to himself. I think it was to the tune of like $33 billion that he sold it to himself for. And I don't know if I mean, or his company, like I don't see why he couldn't do that. I get the tax write-off. I don't understand why everybody's mad at him, but there's a lot of people talking shit on Twitter. The head of Tesla said he plans on stepping away in May during a Fox News interview with the 6 members of Doge that you just seen. Musk said that he was overseeing a revolution in government. I think we will have accomplished most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame. Just watch that. Blah 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 blah. This is where it gets crazy though. On Friday, Musk was excited about the sale of a social media company. XAI and X's future are intertwined. Today, we officially take the step to combine the data models, compute distribute. My bad. Let me start over. We officially take the step to combine the data, models, compute, distribution, and talent. Musk posted on the site. X is the digital town square where more than 600 million active users go to find the real-time source of ground truth, and in the last 2 years has been transformed into one of the most efficient companies in the world, positioning it to deliver scalable future growth. Trying to integrate everything, place it into your head with Neuralink. That transhumanism filth, man. I'll tell you what. Let's see. Musk is a big gay. I don't know about that, man. He's got like 6 baby mamas. You really can't say that, to be honest. You cannot say that. That's a ridiculous statement. King Blackout says, do you think Doge will remain the same or change when Elon is gone? Most definitely change. The people that'll be left in charge may be ideologically sound, or they might be headstrong in their convictions, but they don't have fuck you money like Elon does. So at a certain point, you're gonna bend under the pressure of big politician, big wigs and lobbyists, and maybe fucking mafia dudes breathing down your neck. You know what I'm saying? Shit. You know what I'm saying? Fucking Elder Lion says to King, from what I have seen, seems like they have a lot of accounting nerds thirsty to find loose change. It will probably be fine. I don't know, man. I do not think so. Especially whenever you're meddling in the affairs of the lagoon. They don't tend to like that. They don't tend to like that. Okay, Loquito. Ha ha ha. Good, Elder Lion. I'd be worried you wouldn't have the same drive to out the frivolous spending. I think that it might have it might be used as a weapon though, Like I think, like I was saying, I think it's vulnerable to corruption. Like everybody's a person, everybody has their price, you know what I mean? So at a certain point, somebody will be able to be swayed, you know? Like somebody will be able to uh take some money to investigate extra hard somewhere but look away from somewhere else, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know how it works, you know. But let's get into our second topic, national security risk as war plans were leaked by Pete Hegseth and Michael Waltz in a signal call. Apparently, Michael Waltz inadvertently added a journalist, Jeffrey Goldberg, I think his name is, to a signal call. And we're gonna read through these Atlantic articles. I bought the subscription so you don't have to. We're gonna read through those. We're gonna deep dive. We're gonna dive deep. So buckle in, baby. Baby, buckle up. Just put your seatbelt on there. All right. So controversy erupts around the Trump administration and the potential national security risk as journalist Jeffrey Goldberg was added to a Signal group chat by Michael Waltz, the current U.S. National Security Advisor. Pete Hegseth and other high-ranking officials were in the group discussing an attack conducted on the Houthis March 15, 2025. We have the original article from The Atlantic, which we will read in just a second. The incident with Goldberg has sparked outrage over those critical of Trump's administration and Hegseth's qualification to be Secretary of Defense, some even calling for firings and resignations within the administration, which we will also take a look at. Some Republicans even calling for investigations in the use of the Signal app, investigations for the use of the Signal app, but calling calls of the resignation overkill, saying that Pete and Waltz, that nobody should be fired, basically because what else can you use whenever you're not able to log into a clunky encryption system. And then we have another article from James Lankford, a senator in Oklahoma, talking about they should investigate why they were using Signal and if there's anything else that they could possibly use. Probably skip over that, but Spaceman, how's it going, man? How's it going, brother? And then so let's take a look at the original article that started it all. The Trump administration accidentally texted me its war plans. U.S. national security leaders included me in a group chat about upcoming military strikes in Yemen. I didn't think it could be real till the bombs started falling. By Jeffrey Goldberg. See, the world found out shortly before 2 p.m. Eastern Time on March 15th that the United States was bombing Houthi targets across Yemen. I, however, knew 2 hours before the first bombs exploded that the attack might be coming. The reason I knew this that Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, had texted me the war plan at 11:44 a.m. I thought he was added to a group chat, so he just texted him like, "Hey man, we gonna get these dudes. we gonna drop some bombs on them Houthis, man. This is just up drunk drinking on some whiskey, bro." Oh, it was 11:45 in the morning. I thought it was p.m. a.m. You know what I mean? Just up early in the morning. We gonna get these fools today. He was plotting, woke up plotting, just finished breakfast. And the plan included precise information about weapons packages, targets, and timing. This is going to require some explaining, obviously. The story technically begins shortly after the Hamas invasion of southern Israel in October 2023. The Houthis, an Iran-backed terrorist organization whose motto is "God is great, death to America, death to Israel, curse on the victory to Islam," soon launched attacks on Israel and international shipping, creating havoc for global trade. Throughout 2024, the Biden administration was ineffective in countering these Houthi attacks. The incoming Trump administration promised a tougher response. This is where Pete Hegseth and I come in. On Tuesday, March 11th, I received a connection request on Signal from a user identified as Michael Waltz. So it is Michael Waltz. I think he's security advisor, national security advisor. That's crazy, crazy work, crazy oversight for such a high position. I mean, Signal is an open source encrypted messaging service popular with journalists and others who seek more privacy than other text messaging services are capable of delivering. I assume that the Michael Waltz in question was Donald Trump's national security advisor. I did not assume, however, that the request was from the actual Michael Waltz. I wouldn't assume that shit either. Like, what in the fuck, bro? Like, especially, I think this dude has a record of like hating Trump. Like, he did not like Trump at all. How did you get in this group chat, brother? You know what I mean? I've met him in the past, and though I didn't find it particularly strange that he might be reaching out to me, I did think it somewhat unusual, given the Trump administration's contentious relationship with journalists and Trump's periodic fixation on me specifically. So I guess, yeah, they had a history with each other. It immediately crossed my mind that someone could be masquerading as Waltz in order to somehow entrap me. It is not at all uncommon these days for nefarious actors to try to induce journalists to share information that could be used against them. Paranoid ass motherfuckers, man. I accepted the connection request, hoping that this was the actual national security advisor. And that he wanted to chat about Ukraine or Iran or some other important matter with a random journalist. Like, what the fuck? 2 days later, Thursday at 4:28 p.m., I received a notice that I was to be included in Signal chat group. It was called the Houthi PC Small Group. A message from the group from Michael Waltz read as follows: Team establishing a principal group for coordination in Houthis. Establishing a principal SIC group for coordination on Houthis, particularly for over the next 72 hours. My deputy Alex Wong is pulling together a tiger team at deputies agency chief of staff level, following up from the meeting in the sit room this morning for action items, and we'll be sending that out later this evening. Message continued. Please provide the best staff POC from your team, people of color. They need only niggas from your team for us to coordinate with over the next couple of days and over the weekend. Thanks. Look at how they're typing. This is official PLS. They use PLS for please, and then the classic THX for thanks. This is official communique right here. Official communications. You feel? The term Principals Committee generally refers to a group of senior-most national security officials, including the Secretaries of Defense, State, and Treasury, as well as the Director of the CIA. It should go without saying, whoa. It should go directly without saying, were these the people in the group chat, or was that just like who he was organizing a meeting with? It should go without saying, but I'll say it anyway, that I have never been invited to a White House Principals Committee meeting, and that in my many years of reporting on national security matters, I had never heard of one being convened over a commercial messaging app. Yeah, I haven't either. That's pretty crazy. 1 minute later, a person identified only as MAR, the Secretary of State, is Marco Antonio Rubio, wrote Mike Needham for State, apparently designating the current counselor of the State Department as his representative. At the same moment, a Signal user identified as JD Vance wrote Andy Baker for VP. 1 minute after that, TG, presumably Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence or someone masquerading as her, wrote Joe Kent for DNI. 9 minutes later, Scott B, apparently Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. What the fuck does nigga? What is the Treasury Secretary got doing calling shots on the Houthis, bro? Ain't this nigga supposed? Ain't bro supposed to be watching our money? You're the bro. You're the Secretary of Treasury, bro. Get your ass in the bank. This nigga over here is shot calling, fucking sending bombs to the Houthis and shit. Absolutely wild work. Or someone spoofing his identity, bro. Dan Katz for Treasury. At 4:53 p.m., a user called Pete Hegseth wrote Dan Caldwell for DOD. At 6:34 p.m., Brian wrote, Brian McCormick for NSC. One more person responded, John Ratcliffe wrote, at 5:24 p.m. with the name of CIA official and included in the group. I am not publishing that name because that person is an active intelligence officer. The principals had apparently assembled. In all, 18 individuals were listed as members of the group, including various National Security Council officials, Steve Witkoff, President Trump's Middle East and Ukraine negotiator, Susie Wiles, the White House Chief of Staff, and someone identified only as SM, which I took to stand for Stephen Miller. I appeared on my own screen only as JG. Oh wow. They already had a nickname for him, which is weird. I wonder why Trump didn't fire anybody for this. This is kind of crazy now that we get into it. That was the end of the Thursday text chain. After receiving the Waltz text related to the Houthi PC small group, I consulted a number of colleagues. We discussed the possibility that these texts were part of disinformation campaign initiated by either a foreign intelligence service, or more likely a media gadfly organization, the sort of group that attempts to play blah 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 blah. The next day, things got even stranger. At 8:05 Friday, March 14th, Michael Waltz text the group, team, you should have a statement of conclusions with taskings per the president's guidance this morning on your high side inboxes. High side in government parlance refers to classified computer and communication systems. State and DoD, we developed suggested notification lists for regional allies and partners. Joint staff is sending this. I am a more specific sequence of events in the coming days, and we will work with DoD to ensure COS, OVP, and POTUS are briefed. At this point, a fascinating policy discussion commenced. The account labeled JD Vance responded at 8:16, team, I am out for the day doing an economic event in Michigan, but I think we are making a mistake. Vance was indeed in Michigan that day. Vance's account goes on to state 3% of U.S. trade runs to the Suez, 40% through the European trade does, and there's a real risk that the public doesn't understand this or why it's necessary. The strongest reason to do this, as POTUS said, is to send a message. The Vance account, that is, damn. So the strongest reason they had to do it was to just send a message. They was just trying to send a message. They wasn't trying to hit no targets or nothing. Real niggas trying to fucking clear the area out. I don't know, man. They getting down and through there. This administration, hate them or love them, they're getting results. And to hear Trump talk about it, it was a great attack. It was a great attack, perfect attack. But we'll probably get into these later. I think we should do it. Let's go. I just hate bailing Europe out again. Let's just make sure our messaging is tight here, and if there are things we can do up front to minimize risk to Saudi oil facilities, we should do it. Might be able to do like a real deep dive on this, but for the sake of time, the point is the military plans to bomb the Houthis were leaked. Oh my God, and I forgot to let y'all see this article. I'm tripping. Leaked by Pete Hegseth. You have more than one person calling for his resignation here. I'll let y'all see this. Hopefully y'all can see it. See it, chat. The human species is getting dumber thanks to technology. Exactly.
Are they sure this
the ease of access ruins people's mind. If we just send a quick chat, nobody will catch it. Thank goodness nobody caught it, and it didn't get out, and it didn't leak because they added the wrong journalist. But here we go. Mark Kelly talking about Pete Hegseth and the national security risks and his opinion on that.
Hey, it's Senator Mark Kelly. Just got off the floor of the Senate, gave a speech about why this nominee to be Secretary of Defense is just the wrong choice. I asked my colleagues, are they sure? Are they sure this is the person that they want on the front lines as Secretary of Defense defending our service members, our country, and our families? I know I'm not sure. Hey, it's Senator Mark Kelly.
You guys got to remember, not Mark Kelly. Pete Hegseth comes from being a Fox News host. I think he served in the reserves, maybe. But Shane, how you doing? Salute. Excuse me. Thank you for stopping in. You know what I'm saying? Nice to see you. But I think he served in the reserves or something like that. I think he did spend some time in like an active war zone, but I'm not sure if it was any active duty or anything. And then here's Chuck Schumer and his opinions on things. Take it with a pinch of salt. You know, he got caught with the CCP spy. You know what I mean? You never know what his motives are. It might be a little.
The plain fact is that if the Russians or Iranians or the Houthis had somehow known about these texts, if someone more nefarious than Mr. Goldberg had been added to the text chain, our troops would have been in danger. The mission would have been compromised. And once he got caught, did Secretary Hegseth take responsibility for his shocking lack of judgment, which is what he should have done? Any upright secretary, upstanding Secretary of Defense would have done that. Did he exhibit the kind of leadership Americans expect from the man who may deploy our troops into battle? From the man who may send our family members, our friends, our neighbors into harm's way? Did he accept that responsibility? Nope, he didn't. Instead of accepting responsibility, Secretary Hegseth attacked the journalist. Amazing. Amazing. It's like an Alice in Wonderland world.
Yeah, keep
and
your
called
fucking
him
mouth shut,
deceitful.
bro.
He pointed fingers. He blamed the liberal media. He moaned about hoaxes. Mr. Hegseth, this is not a hoax. It's very real and very serious. You should not be in your job. A plain...
Man, I can't say that I don't disagree with him, although I don't think it would be Pete Hegseth that would be getting the firing. It would be Michael Waltz, because he's the one who let the journalist in. He's the one who added the wrong person. It would have been on him for the leak. You know what I mean? Side overlaps of judgment, you know, oversight, whatever it may be. That is a crazy mistake to make. You know what I mean? A crazy mistake to make. And any other administration, they probably would have axed him, got him out of there. You know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here. I feel like he doesn't want to because he trusts the people that he put into place, and he doesn't want to open up a cavity to where something can get in, if that makes sense. But here's Hakeem Jeffries weighing in on the matter. Let me know if y'all can hear these clips too.
Ultimately, the buck stops with the President of the United States of America, which is why I made clear to President Trump yesterday in my correspondence that the Secretary of Defense should be fired immediately if he's not man enough to own up to his mistakes and resign in disgrace. Ultimately,
everybody calling for him to be fired. Here's a note from Hakeem Jeffries. Here's the correspondence he was talking about. The volume is a little low. See if we can change that. Oh, it is indeed, actually. Got it up. Alright. Play this.
Ultimately, the buck stops with the President of the United States of America, which is why I made clear to President Trump yesterday in my correspondence that the Secretary of Defense should be fired immediately if he's not.
Let me know if that's better. Alright, so here's the correspondence he was talking about. Dear President Trump, Pete Hegseth is the most unqualified Secretary of Defense in American history. His continued presence in the top position of leadership at the Pentagon threatens the nation's security and puts our brave men and women in uniform throughout the world in danger. so-called Secretary of Defense recklessly and casually disclosed highly sensitive war plans, including the timing of a pending attack, possible strike targets, and the weapons to be used during an unclassified national security group chat that inexplicably included a reporter. His behavior shocks the conscience, risked American lives, and likely violated the law. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth should be fired immediately. Sincerely, Hakeem Jeffries. I do understand. I don't know if it was Pete Hegseth's fault, though. Maybe the National Security Advisor is about on par with my voice volume. Or you want it on par with my voice volume? I actually have it loud as heck. Hold on. I got you. Don't even trip. Potato chip. Don't even trip.
But you are going to conduct
this certainly will look.
Is that better? Same. Oh, okay. Good. Good. All right. So let's talk about Trump. He says that it wasn't classified information. Said that it was sensitive. Nothing that wasn't already in the public, which is weird because if it was before the attack, why would it already be in the public? I don't know. Let's see what he got to say, though.
This certainly will look at this, but the main thing was nothing happened. The attack was totally successful.
That's good.
It was, I guess, from what I understand, took place during, and it wasn't classified information. So this was not classified. Now, if it's classified information, it's probably a little bit different. But I always say you have to learn from every experience. I think it was very unfair the way they attacked Michael. He's a good person. The person that was on just happens to be a sleazebag, so maybe that's just coincidence. I don't know.
But you are going to conduct
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy. Michael is a goofball for adding the dude. You know what I'm saying? Adding some random journalist, if you ask me. It's kind of crazy work, Trump. Crazy work. But his response to this, that he's not firing shit.
It was sensitive information, not classified, and inadvertently released. And what we should be talking about is it was a very successful mission.
Federal judge has ordered Trump administration to preserve the contents of the chat in which the top national security officials used the Signal app to discuss military strikes in Yemen as they were taking place earlier this month. The lawsuit asked the federal judge to declare the use of Signal unlawful for government use and order the cabinet members to preserve the records immediately. President Donald Trump said on Thursday that he is asking Representative Elise Stefanik to withdraw her nomination to be United States ambassador. What the fuck are they talking about? Mike Johnson said he would invite Stefanik back to the leadership table, but it is unclear what role she would hold in the White House Republican. What does she have to do with this? Oh my god, it's just fucking stories, bro. Bro. So President Trump was in West Palm Beach on Saturday, made his clearest statement to not fire anyone over an embarrassing accidental leak of his administration's plans for an airstrike against Houthis in Yemen, stating, "I don't fire people because of fake news and because of witch hunts," Trump said in an interview with NBC's News' Kristen Welker. I have a clip of that somewhere here. Let's see.
Just hours ago, President Trump called me to tell me he is, quote, pissed off with Russia's President Putin and threatened to impose secondary tariffs on Russia's oil. Quote, if Russia and I are unable to make a deal on stopping the bloodshed in Ukraine, and if I think it was Russia's fault, which it might not be, but if I think it was Russia's fault, I am going to put secondary tariffs on all oil coming
I don't know what they're talking about with that.
Just hours ago, President Trump called me to tell me he is, quote, pissed off with Russia's President Putin.
Sorry, wrong clip. These are terrorists for some reason. I did have the clip of him saying that he's not, or Kristen Welker talking about him not firing anybody, but I'm not sure where it went. I got it mixed up. But see what chat thinks about what's going on with these signal leaks. I mean, Smoke Spaceman says, I question why it's the people that's known to be the part of the blob, deep space machine swamp that's calling for the firing. That is crazy though. That is crazy. Yeah, I think they maybe want to open up that vacuum. Maybe that's why Trump is so reluctant to get them to fire him, but it does make sense for him to fire somebody who makes such an egregious action. You know what I mean? Shane says the full transcript of the chat is out. There's no secret or top secret information, just a day in green light. Shit. Would that not be top secret information before though? Is that not top secret information? I don't maybe I just don't know how the system works. I'm not a military man myself, you know what I mean? It's running the headlines. Yeah, I caught that. I feel so dumb. Thank you. Thank you, Smoky Spaceman. Trump called her? I doubt that. Yeah, did he call Kristen Welker personally? Just called up Kristen Welker? Yeah, so it was all sensitive information and I'm pissed off at Putin. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't really trust what they're saying. They're straight up lying about 80% of the time. Yeah. And so Shane said the transcripts were released. I'm gonna have to look into that. Transcripts being released. But we are at the edge of our final hour, or not our final hour, of our first hour. And man, so usually we have Professor Stepfire with us so we can wax philosophically. But we don't have him here today. You know what I'm saying? W's in the chat for Stepfire. Prayer hands in the chat if you're praying for your boy. You know what I'm saying? Praying for his health and wellness. He's got a sinus infection. The spring months has got our boy down. He's not down for the count. He did. But in his honor, we will keep it alive. We shall keep the philosophy study alive. So, like good students, we will study. We will study philosophy. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. So if you fellas want to hop in and wax philosophical with your boy, whoops. Pardon. You can go ahead and do so. Hold on, let my potato load up real quick so I can get this link in there for y'all. At this time, in my opinion, it's a ploy to dismantle Trump's cabinet. They've been after his appointees from the get-go. Yeah, it took Pete Hegseth forever. JD Vance had to come in at the last minute. Niggas was tied up for I don't know how long. Didn't do your homework. That's good, because the professor's not here. It's just us students at class time trying to do what we can so we don't flunk the test. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? I'm gonna replace the pinned message with that. The message is pinned up top. Y'all wanna come wax philosophical with your boy? Come and wax philosophical with your boy. Let me close these tabs, because I only need a couple of tabs. You know what I'm saying? Check the link. Make sure nobody's back here. Alright. We good though. We is good though. So last we left off, Platonism. Did a recap on Platonism. Went a little bit into Neoplatonism. Sort of the belief that abstract theories exist and take place in the real world. Oh, you're good, spaceman. You're good, brother. No pressure. I'm taking them out. No worries. But we were gonna do this on our first episode with Grid. I forgot what we did. What did we do our first episode? Was it the 3 laws of truth? I think we did that on our second episode. But this topic that I have for us today, Machiavellianism. You know what I mean? We're not talking about Tupac. We're talking about being sadistic, being aggressive, doing what it takes to be the winner in a political sense. At least that's how I understand it. Let's take a look. We are at the Encyclopedia Britannica, or Britannica.com/science/Machiavellianism. Let's see. Machiavellianism, the political theory of the Italian statesman and writer Niccolò Machiavelli, as presented in his best-known work, Il Principe, 1532, The Prince. The term Machiavellianism is also used more generally to characterize the view that politics is amoral, and that ordinarily unscrupulous actions involving deceit, treachery, and violence are thus permissible as effective means of acquiring and maintaining political power. It's a dog-eat-dog world in politics. Saying there are no scruples, and to make it in politics is basically okay to do whatever it takes. Eat that dog. You know what I mean? Elder Lion says, I would, but I've had to work almost 15 days in a row and renovate a closet to build a prayer room. I'm down for the count for today. I understand, brother. I just got over a sickness, but I usually work 6-7 days a week. You know what I mean? I feel you. 100% work study. That's all I do. Sounds like Canadian liberals. Man, they got some things going on up there. I seen some stuff on X. I don't know what they got going on up there in Canada, but I'm glad it's not down here. Where was I at? In a related sense, Machiavellianism signifies egregiously immoral behavior that serves one person or groups. Signifies egregiously immoral behavior that serves one person or a group's self-interest rather than the greater good of community or a country. In psychology and personality theory, Machiavellianism refers to one element of the so-called dark triad of related negative personality traits, the other two being narcissism and psychopathy. But wait, politics is amoral, and the ordinarily unscrupulous actions involving deceit, treachery, and violence are thus permissible as effective means. Okay, so he's not saying that you must do it. So kind of, because if one uses Machiavellianism and it only benefits a person, that doesn't make you a good politician. It may make you succeed in politics. It doesn't make you a good politician. A good politician enacts the will of the people. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Jelly bean. Like other traits of the dark triad, Machiavellianism is marked by emotional coldness, duplicity, and aggressiveness. Typical Machiavellianism behaviors and characteristics include the callous manipulation of others for personal gain, the use of other immoral tactics in the pursuit of power within an organization or a community, inordinate distrust of others, a desire. Well, you gotta distrust others if you think fucking doing dirt is okay. Let me fuck over everybody around me. You know what I mean? And just think I'm gonna live a nice, cool, calm life. Like, okay, bud, fucking makes a lot of sense. A desire for revenge in response to others' perceived wrongful behavior, and that's crazy work right there. I know people like that. And insincere displays of charm and charisma in brief social interactions. Machiavellians lack effective empathy or the vicarious experience of others' feelings or emotions. Isn't that psychopathy? But they are capable of high levels of cognitive empathy or the ability to understand another person's mental state. So not what? What? So they can't understand feelings or emotions, but they can understand their mental state. What is a mental state, like quantified as, right? They often use that understanding to manipulate others for their own advantage. Although Machiavellianism is an element of the dark triad, it is not considered a mental disorder in itself, unlike narcissism and psychopathy. That's crazy work, bro. So my initial view of Machiavellianism was like, you have to do whatever it takes, like be the most ruthless to succeed in politics. But I'm guessing that's not what it is. Let's see. Anson would be a good guest to discuss Machiavellian philosophy. Well, where the fuck is Anson at? Tell him to get his ass in here and hop up on the panel. We got a little bit. We got some time, fellas. Yeah, dude, want me to tag you in on some? Yeah, bro. I love seeing the libs and their wacky ideas, knowing what they're concocting so I can know what to combat. You know what I mean? Liberal MP calling in a Chinese language newspaper for conservative candidate to be hauled to a Chinese embassy for a bounty from the CCP? What? Like, is he a Canadian native? Like, how does that even make sense? What the heck is going on over there, man? When you burn every bridge, you live on an island. Facts. Machiavelli probably ended up on an island. Machiavellian is probably one of the most important philosophies to learn. Just so you know the size of dangerous person. Machiavellianism is a mix between winning hearts and winning power through manipulation. Yeah, I'm seeing that. Yeah, basically anything goes. Got to be a real sick, twisted individual to be a Machiavellian. But got this video here, and I was watching a little bit of it earlier, but I thought that it'd be cool to watch it with y'all, so we can deep dive into it a little bit. I didn't watch all of it. I watched the intro though, so let's give it a little view. Shit, got it muted. Okay.
We're often appalled by how sly and dishonest many politicians are, but we shouldn't be. In moods like this, we need to remember and read the works of Niccolo Machiavelli, a late 15th century political advisor and political theorist who argued that we shouldn't think that politicians are immoral and simply bad for lying and dissembling and maneuvering. A good politician...
He only had 2 books, right? Niccolo Machiavelli. It was like The Prince and like the Discourses or something like that. Those probably be some good reads to understand where he's coming from. What the fuck you got jogging in that noggin?
In Machiavelli's remarkable view, isn't one who's friendly and honest and kind. It's someone, however occasionally dark and underhand they might be, who knows how to defend, enrich, and bring honor to the state.
See, that's different than what they said. They said like they were saying like it's particularly like enriching a particular group and not bringing honor to the state. Or was it to the people? I don't know.
Which is also an extremely important goal. Being nice may well be a virtue in general, but what citizens most need from their rulers is effectiveness, which may well call upon some darker arts. Once we understand this basic requirement, we stand to be less disappointed and clearer about what we want from our politicians. Niccolo Machiavelli was born in Florence in 1469. His father was a lawyer, and so Machiavelli received an extensive formal education and got his first job as a secretary for the city of Florence. But soon after his appointment, Florence exploded politically and expelled the Medici family, who'd ruled it for 60 years, and suffered decades of political instability and turmoil. As a consequence, Machiavelli experienced a series of career reversals. Over just a few decades, he went from being an important diplomat to a semi-successful general to an enemy of the state, tortured and then exiled when the Medici returned to power. Although Machiavelli was rather a failed politician, he can be remembered as a truly great man because of two works he wrote, The Prince and The Discourses. In them, he attends to a central problem of politics then as now, that it's almost impossible to be both a good politician and a good person in the traditional Christian sense. Machiavelli proposed that the overwhelming responsibility of a good prince is to defend the state from external and internal threats to stable governance. This means he must know how to fight, but more importantly, he must know about reputation and the management of those around him. People should neither think he is soft and easy to disobey, nor should they find him so cruel that he disgusts his society. He should seem unapproachably strict, but reasonable. When Machiavelli turned to the question of whether it was better for a prince to be loved or feared, he wrote that while it would theoretically be wonderful for a leader to be both loved and obeyed, a prince should always err on the side of inspiring terror, for this is ultimately what keeps people in check. Machiavelli's Christian contemporaries had suggested that Prince...
You see that though? Like, that's a very Machiavellian move. To just bomb the Houthis. Just to send them... We're gonna send a message. It's gonna be a good message. The best message that they ever received. I mean, it's gonna be a bad message for them, but it's gonna be a good message. They're gonna understand it. They're gonna get what we're saying. It's gonna be a very clear message. You know what I mean? Very Machiavellian for Trump. It was a good attack, flawless attack. Many people died. I don't even know how many people died. I think like 15. But don't credit me on that. We're past the news section. We're in philosophy now. We're in philosophy, guys. Keep up.
Should be merciful, peaceful, generous, and tolerant. They thought that being a good politician was, in short, the same as being a good Christian. But Machiavelli argues differently. He asked his readers to dwell on the incompatibility between Christian ethics and good governance, and particularly refer to the case of Girolamo Savonarola. Savonarola was a Dominican friar, a fervent, idealistic Christian who'd briefly come to be the ruler of Florence in 1494. He'd come to power promising to build the city of God on earth in Florence. He'd preached against the excesses and tyranny of the Medici government, and even managed for a few months to lead Florence as a peaceful, democratic, and relatively honest state. However, Savonarola's success could not last, because, in Machiavelli's view, it was based on the weakness that always attends being good in the Christian sense. It was not long before his regime became a threat to the corrupt Pope Alexander, whose henchmen captured and tortured Savonarola, hung him in the centre of Florence, and burnt the body before the eyes of a now vengeful citizenry. This, in Machiavelli's eyes, is what tends to happen to the nice guys in politics. Rather than follow this unfortunate
Why did they do that, though? They, like, bro just have money and just called his army. It was like, get him, boys. Go get him. Go hang that freaking bundle of sticks. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the heck? What they got going on?
Christian example, Machiavelli suggested that a leader would do well to make judicious use of what he called virtù, virtue. Machiavelli's concept of virtù for politicians involves wisdom, strategy, strength, bravery, and when necessary, ruthlessness. In fact, at one point, Machiavelli uses the deliciously paradoxical phrase criminal virtue to describe the necessary ability of leaders to be cruel in the name of the state and yet still good as leaders. Machiavelli provided some criteria for what constitutes the right occasion for a bit of criminal virtue. Any violence must be strictly necessary for the security of the state. It must be done swiftly, often at night, counselled Machiavelli, and it shouldn't be repeated too often, lest a reputation for mindless brutality builds up. Machiavelli gave the example of his contemporary, Cesare Borgia, whom he admired as someone who knew how to be tough but not too tough, though we might question the criteria Machiavelli used. When Cesare conquered the city of Cesena, he ordered one of his mercenaries, Ramiro de Orco, to bring order to the region, which Ramiro did through swift and brutal ways. Men were beheaded in front of their wives and children, property was seized, traitors were castrated. Cesare then turned on de Orco himself and had him sliced in half and placed in the public square, just to remind the townspeople who the true boss was. But then, as Machiavelli approvingly...
These dudes on demon time, bro. Like, what the fuck they had going on, bro? Hung them upside down and sawed them in half, bro. Come on, brother.
Noted that was enough bloodshed. Cesare moved on to cut taxes, imported some cheap grain, built a theatre, and organised a series of beautiful festivals to keep people from dwelling on unfortunate memories. The Catholic...
Hey, y'all remember that dude that I brought out in the public square and I hung him upside down and just fucking ripped him in half? Yeah, don't remember that. I got a festival for y'all. I got a fair. We got a Ferris wheel. We got some cotton candy. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be fun as fuck. Forget about that.
The Church banned Machiavelli's works for 200 years because of the force with which he had argued that being a good Christian was incompatible with being a good leader. But even for atheists and those of us who are not politicians, Machiavelli's
I don't know about that. I don't think that that's true. You know what I mean? My God is a God of war.
Insights are important. He writes that we cannot be good at or for all things, not only because of our limited abilities and resources, but also because of conflicts within moral codes. Some of the fields we choose, if not politics, then perhaps business or family life, may require what we evasively call difficult decisions, by which we really mean ethical trade-offs. We may have to sacrifice neo-Christian visions of kindness for the sake of practical effectiveness. We may have to lie in order to keep a relationship afloat. We may have to ignore the feelings of certain employees to keep a business going. And that, insists Machiavelli, is the price of
I don't think... See, it's so ingrained into, like, the culture that, like, everybody thinks that, like, just... Well, they confuse kindness and niceness. He used the word kindness, but meant niceness. You know what I mean? Like, we have to ignore employees' idea for... Like, do you think Christians just fucking, like, listen to every idea their employee says? Like, come on, bro. Like, come on. Make it make sense, brother.
Dealing with the world as it is and not as we feel it should be. The world has continued to love and hate Machiavelli in equal measure for insisting on focusing our attention on the uncomfortable tension between two things we love and always want to have together but perhaps can't. Effectiveness and niceness.
Well, you don't have to be nice to be effective. You don't have to be nice to be Christian either. But what do y'all think about Machiavelli, about this video we watched about Machiavellianism? See, achieve power through any means. Smoke spaceman, pretty much. That's more of a modern left ideology. Only truth is power. Obtain power by any means. That seemed to be the point I got from it. The original. I'd have to read his works to, like, get a deeper understanding. Oh, we got some time. I might be able to read a little bit into it. Dude, these people are fucking brutal. Hell, bro. Come on, bro. These dudes is crazy as fuck. Like, what the fuck y'all got going on, bro? Like, that shit is wicked. Let's see if we can bring up the prince. Might have to pay for it. You can preview 143 pages. What the fuck? In a recent conversation, an Italian, a well-educated medical doctor used the name Machiavelli as a synonym for intrigues of unsavory nature. These examples reflect the general impression of Machiavelli, the man, and Machiavelli, the writer. Hold on, let me see if anybody popped up. That thingy thing. Scanning through his work and other interpretations of it kind of fucked up. Yeah, man, I'm trying to see what they got going on. What he has going on. Nobody popping in to talk about old Machiavelli with me. This is a book about Machiavelli. I want to read The Prince. Let's read this synopsis here. Machiavelli needs to be looked at as he really was. Hence, can Machiavelli, who makes the following observations, be Machiavellian as we understand the disparaging term? So, it is to know that the nature of a people, one to need be a prince, to know the nature of a prince. One need to be of the people. If a prince is not given to vices that make him hated, it is unusual for his subjects to show their affection for him. Opportunity made Moses, Cyrus, Romulus, Theseus, and others. Their virtue dominated the opportunity, making their homelands noble and happy. Armed prophets win, the disarmed lose. Without faith in religion, man achieves power but no glory. Prominent citizens wants to command and oppress. The populace only wants to be free of oppression. Yeah, we're talking about Tupac, JS. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about the Machiavelli himself. You know what I'm talking about? At work and it's loud right now, or else I'll join. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Next time, brother. Pretty much the guy who invented brutalist dictatorships. I think they took my guy out of whack. I think they took him. I think they took his words and just kind of ran a little bit too far. You know that take an inch, take a mile type shit. You know what I'm saying? I think they just read his philosophy and was like, yeah, I should murk everybody that's in my fucking way. You know? I was about to say that, JS. Hell yeah. What up, JS? Good to see you, by the way. Thanks for stopping in, brother, man. There are a lot of countries that follow this philosophy. I even do to a certain extent. I just don't lie, but I am still brutal in what I think needs to be done to stop the jihadis. You know what I mean? The way I understand it, I feel like the way he took religion and religious people as like you can't be nice as a Christian and also be effective and do what needs to be done. Like you're not capable of the violence that needs to be attended to or whatever. But I think he just kind of misconstrued it. And yeah, I think that you very well could hold Christian principles and use force, and it reconciles itself very well, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Are we looking into the psychology or the political? Well, we were gonna look at it from like a philosophical, like, so I guess both. You know what I mean? Basically, I guess, is Machiavellianism like the study of his because they use it in both psychology and political studies, so I guess it would be both. His philosophy would be in both realms. You know what I mean? Nah, I don't think they took him out of context. Well, I'm gonna have to read his books. I got his book pulled up here. Let me show you real quick. The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. Nico Machiavelli. You know what I mean? These are just little scripts. Virtue does not necessarily stand alone as the most important attribute of those in private or public life. The second most important attribute is astuteness, which means strength, street smart. Its counterpart would be weakness or appeasement. Attributes that generate danger and self-destruction. Leaders have to be virtuous and astute, diligent in their comportment as the caretakers of their people, and be aware of what other leaders and nations do. Machiavelli would build dams before. I think why would they say what Machiavelli would do? I don't think Machiavelli wrote this. Let me read this. Is this some sort of, oh, it was like a pre thingy. W Flow Stank. Is that Flow State? Is Flow State in here? He said Flow Stank. It's more that video mixing up nice with kindness. Machiavelli thought kindness was weakness, and that fear was the opener, and kindness happens after the brutalities. I mean, you could understand Gorilla Biscuits. Oh, what up, bud? You can understand where he's coming from, like the shit he's witnessed, like all the political tumult. That's the right word. It was quite tumultuous in his day. That's my damn name. The pain of my existence. Flow Stank. Fucking Flow Stank, man. But yeah, man. Nobody's hopping on. I'm gonna read a little bit more Machiavellianism. Maybe we can cover it whenever Stepfire gets back. Oh, Professor Stepfire, I need you to teach me, man. Need you to teach me. I think we did a good job learning though. Getting a small grasp on it. I gotta go to Audible. Gotta go to Amazon. Give me the discourses. Give me the prints. Study up on some Machiavellianism. I recommend you all do the same. Thank y'all for rocking with me tonight. I wish I could raid somebody. Let me see who's live. Let me see who's live in this thing. Oh. I'm on the wrong thing. Goofball. Let's see, we got whatever live. I think Eleazar is over on whatever. We got, man, nothing. Bunch of nothing. Jake Husden is live over there. He's got an open panel, it looks like. I mean, Sam Shamoon. You know, make your way, find your way around the internet. I just want to thank y'all for rocking with me. We'll be back next week covering the news that matters, breaking it down, and breaking the ding dang narrative. Thanks for rocking with me, y'all. Peace.